What does filmed for IMAX mean? It isn't just a movie that'll look great on IMAX's screens. It means that hiding from a sandstorm feels like fear in every flicker. And every triumph is felt in every sound wave. And the things we've only imagined, you can truly experience those too. That's what filmed for IMAX means. Get tickets to experience Dune Part 2 now and IMAX's exclusive expanded aspect ratio.
Hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel.
Extra.
Lovely. Well done. Loved that one. That was good. Jazz hands and all.
I was riding the sandworm of jazz hands.
I did want to make a sandworm reference, but I thought, are we going to go that cheesy that early?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. The answer to that is yes, yeah. We are now entering sequel season. It does slow down after this for a while, actually, until the end of the month, and then loads of sequels, and then there's another gap, and then there's loads of sequels. What a weird year for sequels. But this one was meant to come out when? November the 3rd.
Yeah. So we should have talked about it already, but we haven't, because
it should have been one of the best films of 2003, potentially. Yeah. 2003? 2023.
You said it, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, no, 2003 sounds wrong.
I really love 2003. It was a great
year.
2023. So we're now in 2024, and we are about to attack the sequel to Denis Villeneuve,
yes.
Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 1. And we are going to talk about Dune
Part 2.
Part 2.
Imaginatively titled.
I'm so glad they just kept them as Part 1 and Part 2 and didn't change them to something
Yeah,
different.
that's true.
Even though if there is going to be a Part 3, it is going to be a colon something
Is
else.
it? They're not going to call it Part 3?
No, they're going to call it Messiah.
Oh, okay. I think isn't the book called Messiah?
There is a book.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's why they're going to do it, Rich.
Right, gotcha.
Because the book, the Dune book, Dune book is very big. Have you ever read it, by the way?
No. I've seen the 80s movie quite a long time ago and thought it was mental.
Yes.
Because of course it is.
I thought you said, I've seen the book. I looked at it and thought, that's mental.
No, I've not seen the book.
It's huge.
I've not seen the book.
It's a big old thick novel. I've never read it either. Dune Part 1 came out in 2021.
Yes.
We both got to see it in the cinema. We both saw it in IMAX.
I did,
we not?
yeah. We did see it in IMAX.
We have different feelings of Dune Part 1, don't we, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, I really liked it.
And I thought it was okay.
You thought it was okay and got annoyed that it was Part 1.
I got annoyed at that was a surprise. I thought just the first half of Dune Part 1 was better than the second half when they get to the sand.
Yeah, you didn't like the sand. Oh,
I thought
that's
the first
making
half
me worried
great.
about this movie. If you don't like sand, how's this review going to go?
It gets everywhere. And then I think it's a great... I've watched it again recently. I've watched it actually twice, a couple of times at home. I made my wife watch
it. I haven't watched it since the cinema. I'm worried it won't stand up as much on the TV instead of IMAX.
Nothing says good as IMAX.
Of course.
It does. It's a nice, solid film. You can't criticise the way that those films have been made. You know, brilliant. Visually, sound, music.
Yeah.
Great films. I think Denis Villeneuve is a genius filmmaker, and Blade Runner 2049 is out of this world. I think Arrival's crazy good. Sicario. This man is a genius when it comes to filmmaking. So that's where I lie so far. And you really liked the first one.
Yes, I did. I also think Denis Villeneuve is an extraordinary world maker.
Oh,
he's
brilliant.
He's definitely a world builder.
There's not many filmmakers I would put in his category. Christopher Nolan, maybe, at the moment. Like
maybe.
Contemporary filmmakers that bring their name, can bring people to the cinema, I would say. And the way he puts films together, especially using that IMAX format, right? Which works brilliantly for part 1 and part 2. Yes, I was surprised when I watched part 1 and the title came out as part 1.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Like, oh, brilliant. At least we get to cover the sequels at some point. I don't think I've ever watched the original like you have. I recently had done some work on it at work because it recently had an anniversary.
Okay.
So I know about Sting.
I think I was only about
fighting in his
15 or
pants
16 when I watched it. And I've really struggled with trying to remember who the characters in that one are compared, like who their version is in this one.
Oh, you see, I watched a TikTok or YouTube video, whatever it is, and it showed the people.
Right.
So I was like, okay,
because it's quite different.
Well, it has to be, right? Because
the...
Dune is such a big story. And I mean, good for them for trying to tell that story back in, the 80s or whatever it was, and on that kind of technology and budget. And I think
it was somewhat baffling.
Somewhat baffling, but it has got its fans.
Oh, yeah. It's a cult movie, definitely.
Yeah, it's a David Lynch film. One day I'll get around to see it, but
I mean, you don't have to say much more than that, really. It's a David Lynch film, so of course it's baffling.
Yes. So this one has been coming out for a couple of years. Like we said, it got delayed, and word on the street it was going to be incredible, and we finally got to see it. Early noise was like up there with Dark Knight, one of the best sequels ever.
Yeah.
So I went straight to thinking, this could be life-changing for me and this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still think I'm processing a bit.
Mate, I could not tell you how I felt when I came of it last night.
I really I did come out of it. Admittedly, I came out of it at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, we'll get to that, yeah.
But I did come out of it going, I don't know what I think. Like, thank God I'm not one of these. I'm not a critic who has to write a review now.
Oh, I could never do that. I respect those people so much, and especially when they write brilliant reviews in about 10 minutes. Incredible. So let's do the synopsis. Because this is going to be baffling for you to explain this.
I've been dreading this.
And then we'll get into where we saw it and stuff, and then we'll talk about the plot, the storyline, our feelings. We'll try and stay away from spoilers for as long as humanly possible.
Yes,
right?
We are going to have to talk about some spoilers, but we will try our very best to leave them to the end.
Put that at the end.
And we'll give you a good warning.
Man, we are good podcasters. We're the best. So here we go. Synopsis to Dune Part 2 from Richard.
Oh, go. And now I'm going to accidentally drop a massive spoiler into this, aren't I?
Try not to.
There's so little. I'm gonna keep it very short and very sweet, right? Because I don't want to drop any spoilers, and I'm worried about doing it.
Can you just tell them what happened in the first one a little bit as well?
For God's sake! I just said I've not seen the first one since 2021. That's 3 years ago.
Easy. There was a family. They got wiped out. They got sent to the desert. And the big Harkonnens come down.
Yeah. Okay.
Go. I'm looking
You've just done it. You just said what happened in the first one, so I don't need to do that anymore, do I?
There was Oscar. Oscar Isaac.
Yes, there was House Atreides. They're on this desert planet where they harvest spice. A thing called spice, which I'm still not 100% sure what spice does. Turns your eyes blue. So, but yeah, spice, and the galaxy loves spice. And something to do with the Emperor meant that the House of Atreides had to be wiped out. He wanted more control, and they were fighting for control, and he gets some baddies called the Harkonnen to go and wipe out the House of Atreides. But Paul Atreides, the son of the Duke, I think they call them Dukes, don't they?
Yeah.
The Duke of Atreides escapes with his mother into the desert, where they meet a tribe. They're not native to this planet, but they meet a tribe of people who are native to the planet called Fremen, and that's where the first one ends. Essentially, that's really good. Yeah, they want to run. Yeah,
they want the bloodline wiped out, so they thought Paul also died at the end.
Yes, they thought all the House of Atreides are dead,
but boom, they didn't.
Part 2 picks up pretty much exactly where Part 1 left. I mean, it genuinely is a Part 2. It runs straight in with Paul and I'm gonna say Jessica. Yeah, Jessica, his mother, Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah. With the Fremen. They're taken in by the Fremen, who believe that Paul is prophet, like they're mentioned in a prophecy, essentially. He's going to be their new leader who's going to lead them to victory and glory. And we find out Jessica is did we find out Jessica was pregnant in the last one?
I believe we did.
Did we? We must have done.
Right?
But there's a lot about Jessica being pregnant in this one. Hopefully that's not a spoiler. And yeah, they get in with the Fremen whilst the Harkonnen are trying to take over the spice mining. The Fremens are attacking them in guerrilla warfare, and the Harkonnen doing a big fight. And the Harkonnen are horrible things. And yeah, that's about all I can say without big fat spoilers, I think.
I think that's pretty good.
Is it?
I think as long as you mentioned the whole prophecy and the religious aspects.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, yeah. So obviously we can talk
Jesus
about more
tones.
things later, but I don't want to do that at this point to give anything away.
And the cast is all there.
Yeah, so you've got Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides from the first one, and Zendaya as Chani, who's like the girl of his he sees him in visions and dreams in the first one, doesn't he? And you meet
her like 10 minutes towards the end.
Yeah, you meet her right at the end with Stilgar, played by Javier Bardem, who's like the leader of this tribe of Fremen. Rebecca Ferguson, we mentioned, is Jessica, who's his mother. I mean, the cast is just incredible, right?
It's great, isn't it? Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, Austin Butler, Lea Seydoux.
Yeah,
I think is. I'm going to go with there. Josh Brolin. It's
incredible.
It's incredible, and I believe that they all bring something to the film, which is great. So we sadly didn't get to see this together.
No.
You went to, I'm going to say, a midnight screen.
No, I went. I went for I wanted to see it on the Friday, so it came out on Thursday, and I really wanted to see it on the Friday, and the only screening I could get to were the only IMAX screen I was determined to see it in IMAX. Yep. The only IMAX screening I could get to was like 10:15 in the evening on Friday. It was the only one that had seats.
Was that because the other ones...
Everything was sold out, man. It was so
crazy.
Unless I wanted to
sit
sit like 4 inches from the screen, which I didn't. Or on one of those stupid bed things they've now put in the cinema, but I would definitely be snoring if I laid down in a bed. So 10:15. I took a can of Monster with me to keep me awake.
Oh, good.
Just in case. And then regretted that when I was sat up at 2 a.m. buzzing. Couldn't sleep. Oh dear. It's like uni days all over again.
Yeah. I also saw it IMAX but on the Saturday night.
Okay.
And I think I got lucky, like in the week I booked them, and I must have got the last 2.
Right.
It was packed.
I mean,
the last 2.
Considering how late my screening was, we genuinely didn't get out because it's a very nearly 3-hour film. With they must have put every single trailer and advert they had on before this movie, because it was about 40 minutes I was in there before the film actually started. So it was 2 a.m. before I got home. Easy. So
we're old men.
And my screening was not empty. Like it wasn't packed like yours. Like I didn't have anyone sat next to me, but I was right in the back row in the corner. And I would say every single row was about 60-70% full.
I think that's incredible.
It is, yeah.
I think amazing that this film is bringing people to the cinema.
There were 2 screenings after mine. So there were people watching that till like 4 a.m. probably.
Wow. I love it. I love that people are coming out there like drones, like just to watch this film. Why is that, do you think? Did people come out to the first one like that?
I don't know. I can't remember. I mean,
is it the
first one made a lot of money, didn't it? Like,
yeah, I made a bit of money. I don't think it touched the billion.
Do you not think?
I don't think it got close to the billion. Maybe 800 mil, something like that overall.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Do you know what? Not even close, mate. Not even close.
Really?
433 million.
That's surprising. I think this is going to go past that quite comfortably.
Yeah. So the first one, definitely not. But it seems to be that this sequel's been hyped, right? It's been properly hyped. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to make them like opening weekend, but...
Why do you think that is? Well, why are so many people coming for this one and not... Because the first one, positive reactions?
I guess because people maybe really like the first one and it's got around word of mouth because... I don't know. But again, 2021, we were still quite COVID-y.
That's true.
So I would say,
I would
caveat that with pretty COVID times
I remember
part
seeing
one.
the first one on a Sunday morning IMAX. It was one of those 10 o'clock shows.
Oh yeah,
and it was pretty quiet, and that was good. But I think word of mouth has worked for this one. I think the cast is good for that. It drags people in. I think just people are excited about large scale sci-fi epics a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think it's not a superhero movie, and I think that's kind of
it's refreshing at this point. Right, let's get into
okay.
it. Are you? I think you're going to enjoy this more than me.
Okay.
I think you're going to be more positive than I am over this.
Okay.
So if you're a downer on it, I don't know what to say to you.
I'm definitely not a downer on it. I don't think I loved it as much as the first one.
Okay, that's interesting.
However, I thought there were bits of it where I was genuinely breathless watching it. Like, I think some of it is so visually stunning that I just couldn't get past it. But, and I think there are some characters who are incredible.
Yep.
I just didn't quite have when I came out of the first one like absolutely high on it.
I remember it. Yeah, you loved it.
I didn't feel like that this time. I think it's possibly the storyline was a bit slower, and
right.
So they have a lot to explain, and there's a lot of moving parts, and trying to get those moving parts together mostly works. But yes. I think in some places slightly misses the mark, potentially.
This is a wonderful to the ears, because this is kind of like how I feel about it as well.
Thank God for that. I thought you'd be like, what are you talking about?
No, absolutely not. I'm not like thinking this is one of the best sequels ever.
No.
I reading things last day, I just read some reviews, and I feel like I'm the idiot. And I probably am, because I'm a bit of a dum-dum.
Me too, man.
But there's so much that is truly magnificent about this film. Like the way it's put together, visually, the music, Hans Zimmer's score, absolutely just punches in the guts for most of it. It's brilliant. I think some of the cast are wonderful. Visually, wow. Like the sandworms, you forget that they're not real, like stuff like that. I think the storyline's a bit jinky and junky, and it's not a smooth ride through it for the 2 hours and 37 minutes, wherever it is.
2 hours 48, I think, something like that.
I believe there feels like there's some stuff cut out somewhere. I needed actually this film to be, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, to be a bit longer in places, because there's a bit at the beginning that I needed a bit longer, and then there's certain character that comes back and I need a bit more of this and that, and I came out of it and I really wanted to love it. I really, really wanted to love it.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I thought, oh my God, people are putting the same breath as like Blade Runner 2049 and Dark Knight. And I was looking for that moment. I'm always chasing that high of that, that first time you see a certain film and it gives you goosebumps and it kind of changes your world a bit. Like when you see Force Awakens and I thought I was going to have one of those reactions, and it didn't happen for me. I'm glad it happened for lots of other people, but no.
I mean, I can't say what it is without spoiling it. I can't. Like,
right, we'll get there.
I can't get my bit across without spoiling it a bit. But I would say going into it, I was a little bit worried about Austin Butler. I thought, yes, that is a strange casting choice. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, wrong. He's
great.
Incredible in this.
He's an incredible actor, Rich.
I wasn't.
Elvis is great.
Yeah, Elvis is fine. Elvis is great. Elvis is fine. I wasn't on board with this. I wasn't like... Yeah, I wasn't fully on the Austin Butler train until this movie, I don't think. Because this is the first time I've seen real range, I think, from him.
Okay. Well, get on board.
But he's incredible in this movie and chilling. And the scene that they shot in infrared, like the gladiatorial combat scene for his Austin Butler's birthday, it shook me. It got me to my core. I felt it. Like the sound, the visual, the weird fucking liquid fireworks, like a David Fincher credit sequence. Like I felt it inside. Like it gave me so many feels.
It's a great introductory to a character.
Yeah.
It's in a point of a film that you're already probably like an hour and a bit in. So it has to do an incredible bit of work to get you to know what that character is like and who he is, but in an entertaining fashion. And it is remarkably good at that.
Absolutely.
Because some bits he doesn't do that to other characters. I would say before watching this film, I would make people go and watch the first film again. It might...
Because in the first film...
might make it easier.
Like Dave Bautista's character, it's like a beast
It's the bad man,
right? It's like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. He's the worst existence. And my God, he is nothing. Like he is instantly transformed to nothing once he meets.
He is.
Is it Fayed Ruther? I can't
Something
remember what his
like
name
that.
is, but yeah, Austin Butler's character. He reduces Dave Bautista to nothing in a snap. Like
it's a brilliant scene where that happens as well.
It is wild.
What is there weird about this review is that it ultimately I think it's going to be a positive review.
Oh yeah,
but it sounds like we're not gonna. It sounds like we're not giving it a positive. Like
it's not wildly over the top about it as other people. Maybe I think it's positive. Like it's a positive review.
It's a fantastic movie. I mean, a piece of cinema. It works very well on the big screen IMAX. It was breathtaking.
And
the sound.
Oh my God, the sound. Like there were points where I was like, I'm not sure if I might have to go outside for a bit because the sound I feel like it's shaking my bones. Like it's
great. Hans Zimmer absolutely nails that. It's
wild.
Film, I think.
And
there's a bit when the Dune overtune kicks in and it gives you like a little bit of goosebumps. You're like, oh, there's that bit. I didn't know I was missing that bit in my life, but that was great. And I don't think it had the bagpipes like the first film.
No, I don't remember.
It's definitely weirdly there's bagpipes in the first one. I was like, oh, didn't expect that to happen. But okay, so there is a storyline there, like we described at the beginning, and then there's also this kind of secondary. Well, it's more of the first storyline about Paul being the Messiah kind of character, and I think on that layer of thing with the mothers and the witchy women, that is where it kind of not loses me, but it just confuses me a little bit.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to go into spoiler territory, aren't we?
I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
There's a bit when you introduce, at the same scene as the Austin Butler character gets introduced, you also get introduced to another of these women, and I'm not quite sure the point of her, but this kind of stuff might come back in part 3, if that makes sense. It's a great film. It's brilliant. It didn't continuously work for me. In some ways, I wanted it a little bit more to iron it out, and in some ways, I was like, "Oh, it's 2 hours 37. Of course, I'm going to say it's too long."
It's 2 hours 48, according to IMDb.
Too long in my head. And there's so much going for it. I think some characters maybe could do a bit more. I don't know, a bit more. I like Stellan Skarsgård as the head. I think he's still truly creepy. Yeah, plays brilliant. His voice is great. Like you said, Dave Bautista, man, that man can act. It really shows range in this. Timothée Chalamet I think is a next level actor at this point. Like, can you believe we've just watched Wonka?
I know.
And then this? I was like, man.
I was thinking about it, and I'm surprised that Timothée Chalamet might be my most enjoyed actor of the last 12 months.
He's hitting beats. His growth from the first film to where he goes to the end of this film, I think that's what I've been thinking about the last day, is great. Like, his change is brilliant. His chemistry with Zendaya, wowzee. They're great together. I thought she's an important character to this story. I thought she brilliantly what she had, and she
is the person who brings Paul back to earth, isn't she? So she
does.
causes the tension, essentially, because she's the one telling him, you're not the Messiah, you're a very naughty boy. Like,
yes. But in the same way saying, I do believe in you, Sandra. I believe in you, but not you.
Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in this Messiah bullshit. That's the thing. Like,
what is Javier Bardem? I got there in the end. Javier Bardem. I think that he made that character a bit more 3D than he did in the first film. Like his beliefs.
Well, a bit more about, he had more time to do that.
And thankfully for him, he explains the bits I was kind of missing, what everyone else is confusing me about. He's the man that was like, okay, he keeps explaining to me.
Yeah, he does a lot of the exposition, doesn't he? Because he talks a lot about the religion and stuff with other people, and you get that kind of from him.
A lot whirling away at this film with Rebecca Ferguson.
There's one character I thought didn't quite work for me.
Let's hear it.
I thought Josh Brolin, his Gurney Halleck, him turning up again.
This is one of the points I was very confused. That they had no explained that he was now a smuggler, kind of thing. That was one of the bits you just needed a bit more.
Because you think he's dead in the first one, I think, don't you?
You do, yeah.
And it turns out he's not dead. He's Han Solo.
Which is no surprise if you're watching trailers or the promotional trailers. Josh Brolin's been writing songs and poems about everyone. He's the
fifth name listed on IMDb, so hopefully that's not a spoiler for people. If it is, I'm really sorry, but
we've done really well to not spoil.
We should give a big flashing warning about now that spoilers are coming.
I think we've just reached. We're reaching the yes. This is where we're going to go into the spoiler section of this podcast. There's an inside joke there. And we are going to give away. We're going to talk. I think we're going to have to talk about the ending in particular, and then maybe the bits that didn't quite work for us. So if you haven't seen Dune 2, thanks for listening to this podcast.
Come back later when you have.
Come back to it later when you have. This is the sequel to this week, next week, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Spoiler Street. No, not Spoiler Street.
Sorry, Dave and Kathy. Sorry we nicked your name.
No, I can edit that out. We're going to spoiler section now. So, Rich, come on now.
We had a whole conversation before the podcast started about how it's not Spoiler Street. We can't call it that. It's not ours. It's copyrighted. And he did it anyway.
Spoiler lane. Spoiler station.
Enough. That's enough.
Okay. Tell me your true feelings now.
Okay. I think the thing for me is it feels so much like a middle movie. And that's maybe why I didn't come out of it, because the end one, the part one, I know it doesn't wrap everything up nicely for you, but you sort of get to a point where things have happened and reached a conclusion.
Right.
And this one, I feel like it's just a bit too much at the end. They just go, the houses said no, so holy war it is. Then it's the end. To
be fair, it feels like it's just getting started.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. You're like, what? What the hell? What do you mean? Like, the great houses have all said no. They don't recognise your ascendancy. Let's start the holy war.
But there is also I absolutely agree with you. I'm very much looking forward to that third film. Apparently, it's not going to be rushed.
I was going to say it's not actually been announced, is it? So
it will come. Apparently, Denis Villeneuve, he's got 4 films he's going to make, and this is one of them. So, and one's a secret one, and then there's 2 others.
Okay.
Yes, it does feel like it's just getting going, and it also feels like it is. It's not a happy ending.
No, not at all. No.
Because it feels like Paul has gone to the bad side.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's a good end. This is why I'm struggling with it, because it's everything I should like.
Yeah, this is one of your favourite endings. The bad guys win.
The bad guys... the bad guys haven't won. But the problem is, there's no good guys. Everyone's kind of a bad guy, right? Because the whole...
It does feel like at the end of the show,
The thing about I can't remember what the Reverend Mother's names are, what they call them, the Blackwyns or something like that. Anyway, it turns out that they come up with these prophecies and feed them to local tribes to help them then take over the planet, essentially. So they then come up with...
They're the ones in charge,
essentially.
really.
They're the ones in charge. They come up with the prophecies, they feed them into the communities as religions, and then they go, this is the person it's about. Because they can sort of see the future, I think.
Yes.
So they're like, oh yeah, here's the religious prophecy, and here you go, here it is. Now we're going to control you.
Yeah, so and we put who's in charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, really.
So, yeah. And now, again, spoiler, Rebecca Ferguson's Jessica becomes the Reverend Mother of the Fremen. So she drinks what they call worm piss at one stage.
Yeah, the blue
stuff. Zendaya calls it worm piss, I think. And her eyes go blue.
And she goes slightly mental.
Yeah, she loses her shit. But also what happens is her embryo, her fetus, the mind of that child becomes aware. And so the whole time she's talking to the fetus. I think in the books, the child's a toddler. And so she's having full-on adult conversations with a toddler, which they thought was too difficult to actually recreate in the movie. So that's when they kept it as a
That would have been a
fetus.
stretch.
And there is a point where you see her daughter grown up, as it's like Anya Taylor-Joy plays her, and she talks to Paul. Sorry, spoiler. I thought people knew that. I thought people knew she was in it.
It got announced when she turned up at the premiere, basically, and she's like, I'm in this movie. And everyone's like,
what?
Oh, are you? Kept that quiet.
She talks to Paul in like a vision. And that's interesting.
Yeah.
But also relatively difficult to follow at points. But you basically just see Rebecca Ferguson's character walking around talking to herself a lot.
Every time those people turned up, it confused me a little bit more. I got what was going on with Paul and how he didn't want to fulfill that prophecy.
Yeah.
And he knew if he went to the south, that prophecy, you can't see what.
Yeah. He's doing air quotes, everyone.
Might come true because he really wanted to stay with the Zendaya character.
Yeah,
like,
Chani.
I know that I know I'm gonna turn into this person.
Yeah.
I've seen these visions. We've seen these visions come true from the first film, like meeting Chani. So whatever he dreams, is the future.
He knows it's going to happen. Yeah,
he's going to come this Darth Vader-y kind of character, and I found that really interesting. And I really liked that. And then the Charlotte Rampling character kept popping up, and old Rebecca Ferguson talking to her child, and then you start to think, is that in her head or is that actually happening? And I think
it's actually happening. Right.
But then you also got the Austin Butler baby bit, which was very thrown at you quickly and then taken
Austin
away.
Butler baby bit.
Oh, yeah, one of the. Did you not get this bit? You know the Leia Sadu character.
Leia Sadu character.
She gets impregnated with Austin Butler's baby.
Does she?
Yes.
What? Hang on.
There's a very quick after the battle, when they meet, and there's a battle, and there's a bit afterwards, and they meet in the quarters.
Yeah,
and these are not your quarters. Yes, there's that off-screen sex scene.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about it. And she's like, and yes, I am pregnant.
Charlotte Rampling's character. Yes. Has the package been acquired or something? And then she's like, it's a girl.
Oh, I was confusing it with when you were talking, because you find out Rebecca Ferguson's Jessica is the daughter of Baron Harkonnen. So actually she's a Harkonnen or half Harkonnen.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. Well, we said spoilers. We're on spoiler station or whatever the hell you called it.
And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm taking a lot in now. And I am a dum-dum. You know I'm a dum-dum. So it just felt too much. And I know this is source material and it's from a book. So I can't get angry or...
No, but it's different interpretations of it, isn't it? Like, not everything in the book is in this and not everything in this is in the book. And there's different ways of doing things.
But like you said, there were scenes... almighty. Like when he first gets on a sandworm.
Yeah.
Incredible. And even the last half an hour when on the siege, the attack, when the 3 sandworms come out, and I was oh Christ, that's brilliant. Like visually, it's
almost
great stuff.
too,
and like you said, the battle, the fight's great.
I always feel like it was too easy though. Do you not feel like it felt like it was a bit too easy?
Well, that's when you found out there's millions of people in the south.
Yes, yeah, true, yeah.
Just keeping quiet and staying away and under the sandstorms or whatever was happening. No, I hear your argument there, and I think I agree with that. It did seem a bit easy towards the end.
Yeah, and he also seemed to
planned.
dispatch Austin Butler easier than I thought he would. Did you want more of a fight? Well, I don't even know if I wanted more of a fight, but I wanted more sinister. I thought he'd be more psychopathic than he actually was.
But I think that shows that Paul's now psychopathic, but in a different way and more psychopathic.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
He's like, I beat this motherfucker. This motherfucker's fucking mad.
And he basically says to Christopher Walken, yeah, sorry, you're nothing now, Emperor. By the way, I'm taking your daughter. Like, yeah, I'll be marrying her.
That breaks.
And then Zendaya's like,
yeah,
the fuck?
You just told me you loved me.
And
mate, all that was great.
Yeah.
Great movie.
It is. But why don't I have the feels, Dave? I don't understand.
This is what I say now. This is
the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy. Why don't I love it?
Well, do you think we need to see the Return of the Jedi of this trilogy before that you can
maybe
maybe
I need
truly love it?
Style Ewoks.
I was looking for that feeling watching it. I thought I was going to get the feeling the first time I saw The Dark Knight on the IMAX, or like The Force Awakens, or even Blade Runner 2049 when I saw that first time.
I mean, I got some incredible feels,
definitely.
Like I said, like the visual effects, the sound. There were some scenes where I'm just like, this, I will never get over watching it. I will never get over this. This is so incredible. Like I genuinely scared of the Harkonnen. Like they genuinely terrify me. That chant, that they are
stands the design of them.
And they're all like a homogenous, in unison, and their comparison to the Fremen, who are free and free-spirited and all argue with each other and do things differently, and some of them like this stuff and some of them don't, and you know that kind of like the contrast between the two, where the Fremen are all colour and the Harkonnen are all black and white, and I know it's just
I thought that was brilliant.
It's incredible. It's incredible, and I genuinely haven't watched a film where I felt really genuinely frightened, like nervous about like either a character or a group of characters like I do about those Harkonnen. I was like, fuck, if they were real, we'd all be fucked. They're the closest to like, you know, it's like Nazis, you know, like how like Nazi chants and salutes and shit are all synchronized, and when you see those like the communist armies of China all marching together and stuff, and it's fuck, like. Yeah, I got that same sort of feeling of watching the Harkonnen. Like, I was like, fuck, they're all like a machine.
Did you at any point feel like, and there's a bit like I was trying to talk about earlier when we weren't talking spoilers, there's a bit when Javier Bardem's character sends Paul to do a thing, and then Zendaya joins her, and then it kind of cuts, and then do you think there's some time there, a time lapse, that we're not being shown? He's been with those people for a while.
Well, now. I don't know. I don't think so, because Jessica's baby still isn't born, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good way.
So you think I don't know if like that. I mean, they're all aliens essentially, so maybe gestation periods are different, but you know, it's less than 9 months. This whole thing happens over because that baby still ain't born yet. So
because it just felt like there was a scene where no one trusted Paul. You know that and then suddenly they were all with him.
Well,
I think that's because he was fighting with them.
Yeah, but I think...
But I feel like we're missing some battles or time, maybe a month or two. I'm not saying years.
Maybe.
Or weeks.
I think there is a kind of passage of him chipping away at them. As there are people who believe he's the Messiah straight away. Javier Bardem's like, he's the Messiah. And there's some people who are like, oh shit, he's the Messiah. And then there's a lot of other people who are like, yeah, the fucking Messiah. Look at him.
Paul.
Yeah. Look at him, yeah, the Messiah. And then it slowly seems to get more and more and more people do believe. And I think the whole idea is that Rebecca Ferguson's planting the seed that he's the Messiah as well.
She's travelling around.
She's travelling around the Fremen, building that support for him whilst he's off doing the fighting. So actually, she's the one recruiting people to his side. She's the one doing that work. And he's then accidentally winning people over to his side by his actions on the battlefield, essentially.
Yeah, okay.
And saying, I don't want to be the Messiah. And they're like, he must be the Messiah. He doesn't want to be the Messiah. He must be the Messiah.
And then he doesn't want to be the Messiah. And then sadly, he has to become the Messiah.
Yeah.
And then he goes probably beyond that. That last scene's quite hard to watch in some places.
Essentially you get from it that he will be terrible.
Yeah. He's the saviour at this point, but in the long term, it's not going to be good for the universe.
Yeah, essentially, there are no good guys is the message of this movie.
It's tough going. Shall we try and rate it? Or do you want to do a little bit of Rotten Tomato guessing? Just to...
Oh, God. It's not been out very long. It's only been out a couple of days.
No,
we're going to have
we can compare the first one to the second one.
Do we know about money or anything yet? I guess it's too early, isn't it? It's not had opening weekend yet.
I've read 181 million somewhere and 181 million.
What budget?
It's making a lot of money. Oh, I don't know about the budget.
It can't have made 181 million already.
Mate.
It came out on Thursday. It's only Sunday. It's not had opening weekend finish yet. IMDb says 32 million. I imagine it took that in the first couple of hours. But anyway, so we can't really talk money at this point.
No.
But we imagine it's going to make its money, right?
Yes, I
yeah.
Rotten Tomato?
Okay, so...
Part one.
Oh, part one. Critics. I think it'll be in the 90s. I'm going 96.
83.
Wow, okay. That's lower than I thought. Audience. Oh, that's thrown me now. 89.
Oh, 90.
Okay. Not far away.
No, these are, part one's had 512 critic reviews, and at the moment, part two's got 329.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
So quite a few. So what do you reckon?
So as you know, I try not to read reviews, try not to listen to any podcasts or anything until we've done this. But obviously you do get kind of...
You can't
noises
get away from it,
and there have been, like you said, people have been talking about how this is the best thing ever. So I imagine critic reviews are pretty high, but 83 threw me for the first one, so I'm going to dampen down my expectations and say 85.
No, 94.
Ah, yeah, fucker! I knew I should have done it.
This has been universally positive. This is what I'm saying. Am I the crazy one?
Well, you say universally positive, but that is universal. That's 90. Would you say 94? 94% of critics gave it 3 stars or more.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have to have given it. That's not 5 out of 5. That's
true.
3 stars or more.
It's just a positive review.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Audience, quickly. That's over a
got to be similar.
Plus.
It's got to be in the 90s. I'm going 93.
Oh, 95.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Which is great, which is wonderful that the audience are reacting to it and watching it.
Of course,
people are going to watch it.
Of course, it's more than a 3-star movie. Of course, it is.
Oh, it is.
Of course,
Let's
it's
rate
more
it
than a
ourselves.
3-star movie. Yeah.
What do you rate it out of 7? And is it an unequal sequel?
Okay, unequal sequel. Fuck. I don't know. It's really hard. I still don't feel like I've processed it properly yet. I feel like I need to watch it.
Are you going to go and see it again? Are you tempted to go and see it again?
I'm tempted to go and see it again. But we've got so much we're going to have to watch. Yeah, I haven't got time for it either. I think it's pretty equal. I know I've said it's not quite as good, but it's very close. And I'm splitting hairs. There are bits in it that are so good. So yeah.
I think it's an equal sequel. It's on par. I would say it's on par with the first one.
Okay.
I know a lot of people say it's better, or some people slightly worse. I love that first hour in that first film when it's all going tits up for them and they're getting destroyed. I think that's my favourite part. Out of 7, Rich. So 7's perfection.
It's not 7.
Great answer. Good.
I think it's a 6. Yeah, it's a 6 out of 7.
Which is weird because I still feel like we're down on it, but we're not. We're
really
not.
Good. I think as I've been doing this podcast, and we've been talking about movies a lot longer, I've kind of tempering my views a bit more. I try not to give 0s and I try not to give 7s. Oh, not that I don't try, not that I try not to, but it has to be really, really exceptional for me to give it a 7. Like, it's got to be Paddington 2 for me to give it a 7, essentially.
For a sequel, okay, yeah. Or a Maverick. Or
or Top Gun Maverick or something like that. And I don't think this is quite there. Like, I'd give Empire Strikes Back a 7.
Yeah.
I think this is a 6. I think, but I caveat that with my mind may change in the future. Because I'm still struggling to process it, honestly.
I mean, I really liked it, but I didn't love it. I didn't fall in love with it. I'm not going to rush back and see it.
No.
So
I think you can see why it's incredible. I can see it. I know why it's incredible. I know why everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So much respect for it. I just didn't quite
I'm going to go
have
5.5.
feels. Really? Wow, okay. I wouldn't go that low. But no, I'd definitely keep it at a 6, I think.
It's not anywhere near my top sequels ever. That's a hint when we come to doing our episode. But I can see why people love it, and it's an incredibly made film. But if you ask me what a better Villeneuve film is, 2049 is a much better sequel. Arrival's a better film. Prisoners. I wouldn't put this in the top 4 Villeneuve films, let alone. I think, like I said, I preferred the first Dune.
Oh yeah,
Just?
I don't know yet. I still don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch it again at some point, and I think that's when I'll come really settle on it. But I can tell you now that I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's a brilliant film. I just don't think it's for me, and I like big fantasy sci-fi. I love that kind of thing. It's just something somewhere with this film is not connecting with me mentally or in my heart or in my head, if that makes sense. And that's where something's got to connect. But compare it to like Madam Web last week. Or
fucking hell.
What a delight to watch us actually go and watch an actual incredible film for once, which was wonderful.
But there's got to be,
lovely.
It needs a third part. It really needs a third part, doesn't it?
We'll get it. I think we'll get it. If they just end it like they did, of go do that, I'll be so disappointed. Yeah, it needs to complete the film, the trilogy. It needs to go beyond and show us more and see the full arc of Paul to see where he goes or if he comes back. Because it's not a happy ending. No. Anyway, so it is a recommendation from Maria Rich. Go see this film. Go and see it on the IMAX if you can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fucking incredible.
100%. Don't leave it too late. Go and see it while it's in cinemas. You have to.
It's an incredible treat in cinemas. It's why they make cinema.
If just for the gladiatorial scene and nothing else, you have to go to the cinema to watch it.
It's a brilliant piece of film. On that note, Rich,
I don't know if we've got it in me now, Dave. I'm done.
I'm emotional.
I'm wrung out.
I get you.
If you like these rambly, weird reviews that we do of movies, then you've got hundreds more to go and listen to. If you tuned in because you wanted to know what we thought of Dune 2 and you haven't listened to any of our nonsense yet, go back and listen to that. There's tons of it. Whilst you're there, hit the subscribe button, hit the auto-download button. We'll drop into your popular choice every single week. If you've just discovered us and you absolutely love us, because some people do, weirdly enough.
It's weird.
Get on to anotherslice.com/unequal sequel. $2.99 a month. You can join our subscription service and we'll have loads of extra content for you. We've got Disenfranchised, we've got Box Set Mentality, we've got extras to all our interview episodes. There's all sorts of extra stuff on there. You can listen to us lose our mind over Twilight. You can listen to us do a new Box Set Mentality where we talk about our crazy French films. Let's do it. Let's get over there. Give it a listen. You can also, I should also big this up, you can also see some of Dave's incredible editing work as well. Because, not being funny, the jingles, the sound, all that stuff is so much better over on another
I do like those jingles.
Dave has properly put it together. He's done it. So yeah, go and give that a listen. See what a professional podcast sounds like, rather than just rambly old nonsense that we do here. But yeah, so if $2.99 a month is not where you're at the moment, then that's totally understandable. Please just tell your friends about the pod. Get on social media. Let your friends know about us. We are at Unequal Sequel on all the things, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, all that stuff. We're all there. We're on YouTube now. We're on Blue Sky. We're on TikTok, for God's sake. You know, all the places. Get on there. Say hello. Send us a message. You can even send us an email if you don't do social media. We're at unequalsequel@hotmail.com, and we'll read out all your comments. Let us know what you thought of Dune 2. And we'll read your comments out in the end of month roundup.
Perfect, yes. Send us your thoughts on Dune Part 2. I'd love to hear them. I want to hear good, positive ones. I would also love to hear from someone who really didn't like it. So that'd be interesting to read. Yeah. Anyway, it is a goodbye from me, bye-bye, and a goodbye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one. Sequel to this one. Have a great week. Bye.
A bit worn out now, mate.
Mate, I'm emotionally drained.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
Too.
Went long on that one. But it's a great film, and it's lovely to watch a decent sequel, like I said, and hopefully a lot more decent sequels. Do you reckon this will be up there at the end of the year as your best sequel ever?
Yeah, I just think it probably will be.
I was trying to think of other sequels that might be.
I mean, there's lots coming.
Deadpool,
Ghostbusters. There's
the Ape films looks.
The Ape films look amazing. There are films that I probably love more.
That will connect more with me.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be some better made.
No.